Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Creative Connect. I'm Kopano Lokhoti, and today we're continuing with our takeover of LLB, where we're chatting to some of the cast members that I got to meet and work with on Law, Love, and Betrayal. And today we've got my very own boss, Mr. Fez here. Kagiso, Rathebe, welcome to the show.
Hello, babe. How are you?
I'm good, and you? How do we feel?
We're good. We're blessed.
Yeah.
We're all the good things.
Yeah, we haven't seen each other since we wrapped the show. That was June. First week of June.
Around then, yes.
And obviously
Wrap party afterwards.
Yeah. We kept in contact over the phone, but now this is the first time in person, and it's just so great to see you.
Also, I love what you've I just love your movement, man, and I love what you're doing, and I love all of this. And you have always been, even on set and meeting you, just such a precocious and ambitious and just just like a light that's just so inspiring to see someone in a younger generation that's you know what I mean? Just pushing the way you are. Yeah. And I commend that so much.
Don't make me that. I can't take a compliment, really. I can't.
Take it all.
Thanks. But the weird thing is, I can always compliment myself when I've done something good. But to hear other people say, I'm like, okay, you don't really need to shed light on it. But it's a weird thing. But we're here to talk about you. So I suppose I want to know, I think I asked you on set, but I'll ask you again for the class. You're an actor, you've been acting for a hot minute now.
Yeah.
Did you always know, or was it a thing of it found you when you least expected it, like Dame Emma Thompson?
Yeah, that's my friend. No, I definitely always knew. 4 years old, I knew. It's more of a calling for me than it is a career. Like I knew when I was 4 years old, and it was definitive, and my mom could see it in me. And she always had a sort of like a mentality of like nurturing whatever your child wants to do versus like forcing them to do like a corporate gig or whatever it is. So she spotted that from a young age, and then from then I was already acting since I was a kid in school, in theater plays, all that kind of stuff. And then but I only really got to study professionally for it after high school. I went to a very small private school called Brandcliffe House, and it's like so small that even people, it's in Fairlands, but even people in Fairlands don't really even know that it's there. It's and they didn't have any extramural activities, including drama. So I kind of felt disconnected from it in high school, but I still obviously knew that was my...
And I'm sure you watched stuff that kept on fueling the flame.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I definitely knew as well. I remember actually, it's funny because like they had these like yearbooks at the end of the, when you finish matric there. And that's all I wrote about in my sort of like message. Was like, I want to become an actor and blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. And just a little boy dreamer type thing.
Yeah. For me, just yesterday I was with friends. We were seeing another friend of ours who we haven't seen in a minute, who's also in the theater space. And then my friend was asking, did you always like know? And then my friend was like, no, it came to me quite late. And then when they turned to me, I was like, I've been Rachel Berry. Rachel Berry is this character on Glee who knew that
I know Rachel Berry. Yeah, Rachel Berry.
I always knew. And they say you become aware of yourself at the age of 4. So that's like the first point where you can recollect any memories. So for you to say that you're
it's a very distinct memory that I have as well. It's like I'm sitting in front of the TV, watching these people inside of the TV, and like and just thinking to myself, wait, and firstly running behind the TV to check why are they not looking in the holes? But where are they? I can't see them. Very confused, but it's fine. But I want to do that when I grow up. No concept of what a career was. No concept of I want to do that. And it was like a one-track mind as well, because I remember like growing up as a kid, and you get adults who ask you like, so Kagiso, what is it that you want to do as an adult? I was like, I want to be an actor. And
give us
it's
a
like, okay, answer. But it's like, no, it's like, okay, but what's your backup? What's your backup plan?
Yeah.
And my answer would always be like, nothing. It's either that or die. Like just like.
So you really didn't have like something to fall back on, even an idea, maybe teach English. I don't know.
No.
Why are you laughing like that?
I love because I was very good at English. But I was almost too good at English in school because I went to a predominantly white school that, in hindsight, had a lot of like racist undertones to it when I look back on it, which is also ironic now because now most of the school is full of black and colored people. Yeah. But at the time, it wasn't, and I was like one of the few black people in that school. I think like maybe 2 or 3, but I was really good. I was always really good in English literature when it came time to writing stories and all that kind of stuff. But I was almost too good. Where there was one incident where they had us writing this thing, I don't know what it was, comprehension or whatever. And I remember sitting out to school and it's homework time and I'm writing this thing and I'm thinking to myself, God, oh, damn, this is good. This is good. Oh my God. And then I think to myself, I'm like, shit, I hope my teacher, Mrs. Salmon, doesn't think like that I plagiarized this or that I went on the internet or because it's actually really good. The stylus was really good. Got there, handed it in. Then I think it was like a day or whatever later, we're getting our marks back. Then the class is leaving. Then she calls me to the front after everyone's like, Kagiso, can I speak to you for a minute? Okay. She calls me and she's like, this paper that you wrote, is it
yours?
Is it yours? Did you get someone to help you with it? I've never been more both offended and complimented
at the same time
because I was like, it was me. It was me. Yeah. It was definitely me. So that's an English question. But like, no, I never had any backup. Any backup would have been within the realm of like entertainment and what I do. So at one point it was music, like I play an acoustic guitar, all that kind of stuff. But I just realized that I wasn't passionate about music and I wasn't passionate enough about it to go through the struggle of the music industry, which is like, I just, I wouldn't do that. And even writing at one point, that was also sort of passion. And I realized that I wasn't so much a writer in terms of dialogue. I'm just too lazy. I don't have the patience, but I love coming up with concepts and stories and all that kind of stuff. So I think with acting this was the one profession where I was willing to go hungry for it. For you know what I mean? And I have many times, right? But this was the one industry where I was like, okay, but I'm willing to go through the hard times for this thing because that's how much I love it.
Yeah, and the passion will always be there. Circling back to the whole English thing, I actually have a similar story.
Really?
But in my case, it was in grade 5. My teacher gave us an assessment to write like a short story.
Which school did you go to?
Oh, this was in Kimberley. I attended primary school in a predominantly colored area.
Okay.
And basically.
How was that?
It was fun. But looking back, I know I tried to fit it. But that's just a thing that I do. So when I was there, I would never do it, but I would just speak with a colored accent with my predominantly colored friends. But then came time for high school. I started at a historically Afrikaans school. So then it was a thing, I should try and sound more like this because all of my teachers, it was white and then a few colored teachers, no black teachers. And then when I got to the English school, that was like, okay, now you need to work on the English accent. So it's just the thing I do. It's just the thing I do. But then we were given the assignment to write the essay. And then I was reading the Harry Potters at that time. And I was on Half-Blood Prince. So then I just copied a few things. J.K. Rowling, don't come for me.
Yes.
But then I changed the name and whatever.
Listen, we've all done that kind of little things here and there where it's like...
But then my teacher, she was a Harry Potter fan. Then she's like, I can tell this is from Harry Potter. And she said to me, we can either let you do it again or we can just walk to your mom's class right now. So my mom taught at still teaches at that school. And it was a thing that they used to like instill fear in me. So I was like, no, I'll do it again. Then I sat down and actually thought of a story. And by the time I was done, she asked me that question, did you really, really write this? I was like, yes. And she said, don't stop. And I was like, okay. And I really didn't.
That's great. And also I wonder like if they would have asked any of the white children in our classes.
Those questions. Oh, okay.
Question. So you know what I mean? That's what I harken things back to. And there was a lot of other things that happened in my school experience that make me see how much of how much racial undertones there were. That for me, that's just one of them. Because I asked myself, like, would she have asked any of her
one of your white counterparts? Yeah. For me, it wasn't really that experience because so primary school was the colored in the colored area, and then as much as RTS is a Afrikaans school historically, there were mostly black children, and from we had 6 classes per grade. 5 of them were English, 1 was Afrikaans, and the only thing white about it were the teachers and the staff, really.
Okay.
And then when I got to the boys' school, there were like 5 white kids when I was in matric. So I've never had within the school setting, but with all the extramural activities that I did, I got to see, okay, this is how you're like when you're among your black folk, and this is what you're like among Afrikaans white people and English white people. So I really got to see the differences. And for the most part, that Kopano is still the same person. It's just language. But then again, my grandmother always had this thing saying, if you're going to speak a language, why don't you just try and sound like you're native to that language? And I really took it to heart. So when I speak Afrikaans, I want to sound like Afrikaner.
Are you fluent in Afrikaans?
Yeah, well, because I'm from Kimberley, everyone in Kimberley just speaks Afrikaans, so it's like a thing. And most people here in Joburg, they're like, "Oh, you can speak Afrikaans." And in Kimberley,
Afrikaans gives me traumatic memories of like Fridays in school when you're sitting in that last period where it's like all you want to do is knock off and get out, and it's dragging. And you got the trappa van the trauma, but like as soon as I walked I'm in the final day of walking out of high school. You've written the final exams. Like I can picture it. Like, I'm walking out of high school. Afrikaans is walking out of my head at the same time.
I never, because you'll never need it
again. Since that day, because I knew.
That was me with math. I knew.
Yeah, same. I did math lit. Like I didn't do math. Yeah, and I'm not even ashamed of it.
I'm not. Because I knew my path was this in some way.
I mean, sometimes now, you see, the older you get, maturity is something interesting because it's like now, especially when you realize what the industry is in South Africa, it's not Hollywood, and we're not getting remunerated nearly. Not even close to what we deserve to be. You know what I mean? And you're watching us play these opulent characters on TV and lawyers and all this kind of stuff. But because we can't even pay our rent. Can't even do any of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just doesn't make sense type shit. So, when you grow, then you start to think about life a little different and you start to value different things as well. Like for me, it's like the things that I value right now, which is stability and happy home type thing, and like, pay my bills on time and everything like that. So it starts to make you think of like, oh, damn, I have some friends who like are chartered accountants, and but they're also actors, but they chose the other,
the other,
and it's pros and cons. You just pick your struggle.
So I'm not getting a sense of regret. I'm getting a sense of, I'm wondering how I would have turned out had I chosen to have something to fall back on while pursuing acting.
Yeah, totally. I mean, listen, I don't wonder in that sense because I never would have made that decision. Like I know that but what I wonder about is, I wonder if I happened to be good at math or accounting in school, then would that have made my decision a little different?
Yeah.
Because at least then I'm good at it, then I can find some passion in it.
Yeah.
If I'm not good at it, or if I don't find any passion with it, I'm not going to do it. I tried corporate for like 3 weeks before I got into, like I lasted 3 weeks in a corporate job, which was selling cold calling insurance for some of them. And I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
My soul was being drained.
Yeah.
So I know it's not for lack of trying. Like I've tried, but it's like, I wonder sometimes if my brain was different. Like, it's interesting seeing different perspectives. Though.
Yeah. For me, I mean, the performing and pursuing the performing arts was always number one, but because my mom as well, but I knew that, okay, you should try and foster other skills and talents that you might have. And although at the time when I registered for it because I wanted to study drama, but then I decided, okay, study law because your mom's not going to lie to study drama. Then the university got filled up, whatever. Then I opted for journalism. And so
you didn't study law?
No, because I went to the University of the Free State, and during my first year, 2018, they still allowed walk-in applications. Oh my God. It's my mom. Sorry. I thought I put this
you got to answer it to your mom.
No, let me. Gosh. Okay, guys, let's just watch me speak to my mom. But I'll probably ask Jesse to cut this out.
This is an inside scoop, right?
Mommy. Hey, I can't phone the date. Bye.
That's so cute.
Yeah. I thought I put it on silent.
Okay.
Anyways, hi. What was I saying? Yeah, walk-in applications and basically people who passed matric and were able to qualify for law, and whoever had the money to register right then and there, they could do it. And then the faculty got full by the time I got there. So I was like, oh, what am I going to do now? So then
but did you want to?
Then I thought, okay, now this is my chance to study drama. Then my mom was like, let's take a walk. Then we took a walk on campus. She's like, no. And I thought, okay, maybe education, because I love English. So I thought I could be an English teacher, and maybe history or business, because those were my other subjects. Then she said, I'm a teacher and you know what it's been like. So please find something else. Then I was with my best friend at the time. He wanted to study international relations, but they only had political governance and transformation. So he opted for journalism. Then I'm like, journalism. And then I remembered my favorite actress in South Africa, in the world, Masasa Mpangeni, played a journalist like 3 times now. So I said to myself, okay, cool. Then I registered for journalism. And the first few weeks, it was like, I'm wasting my time, because the first day of our class, our teacher was like, I don't care if you wanted to study law and you got rejected and now you're here, or you want to be a presenter. I'm not here to train you to be
so loaded.
And I'm like,
are you talking about me?
Like, are you talking about me? Yeah. She's like, I'm here to train journalists, real hardworking journalists. Whether you're going to write for a newspaper or you're going to be a correspondent or an anchor.
You know who else who studied journalism? Halle Berry.
Yeah. Halle Berry, right?
So you're Murphy, basically Halle Berry. That's basically what I'm saying.
Thanks. Yeah. And then, but like by second year, I was like, I could see myself being not a writer for a newspaper. I love writing, but I don't want to know. I could see myself as a news anchor or there's this guy, he's actually an actor, or I at least I know him as an actor, but he's now a correspondent. His name is Xolisi Masango. And it just watching his career and really becoming...
So he's an actor and...
He used to be on Generations. Okay. He played Zach, the techno boy on...
Generations?
The Legacy.
Okay.
Yeah, and then... now he's a news anchor and he does, So anyway, that was my story. And I forgot where we were at, but for me, I just knew that try and have something to fall back on while you're gonna try and pursue this. And right now, I'm at a point where I still want to pursue the acting, but I want to see what I'm like as a journalist.
I think you should too. I think, and especially if you have some passion for it, like definitely. I think it's like, whenever like people ask me like if like, you know, budding actors or people who want to get into the industry, what for advice or what to do or blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Like the first thing I ask them is, is there something else? Anything else in the world
outside of this,
that you could be really passionate about, that you could make money and that you could do. And if the answer is yes, then do that. Please do that first. If the answer is no, absolutely no, then sure, then do this. It means you are prepared and mentally prepared to do the struggle for it. But I think for me, that's what I'm saying in hindsight. Like if I had a different passion, I don't know what choice I would have made, but at least the choice would have been there. And then maybe I would be able to still make that choice now. But it's interesting. I think everybody's path is what it's meant to be. So there's definitely no regrets. It's just it's an interesting observation, I suppose.
Right now, Law, Love, and Betrayal. I mean, we had the conversation, but let's talk about the audition process again. I think you said to me you auditioned for both Fez and James. But let's tell.
So I auditioned for... The audition came to me at a very I was going through like a very low mental state, like just going through some personal stuff where I was just like not even in the headspace to work. And the audition came to me. It was a self-tape they wanted. Didn't really want to do it. Just really didn't want to do it. Also, in context to me, I'm like, I was at a point where, okay, I've already played enough gay characters in my career now. I'm not trying to be typecast. And here's this character that they have written here. And the main log line that they have for the character is that he is unapologetically gay. And it's such a turn off reading that line immediately, because I was like, ugh. Isn't he just unapologetically a human? You know what I mean? First, like, what is that? So now you guys, are we doing a caricature, all that stuff? And I had an experience like that before and vowed that I didn't want to do that again. But now the difference is here, this is a fully fleshed out character who is, he is a part of the story. I think from the point of doing the first self-tape, so I did the first self-tape, even doing that self-tape was really touch and go on the day that I did it. It was kind of like, will I do it? Will I not do it? Just did it. And then got the callback, I think a few weeks later. But like I said, I was in such a weird mental space that I wasn't necessarily, I wasn't happy.
Oh, okay.
I was actually almost angry that I got the callback, and it's a weird feeling. But I know I wasn't angry that I got the callback. I was just angry that I'm getting the callback for this character that I don't really want to play, because I'm playing the same type of character all the time and I don't want to be, all these things in your head, right? But you're not looking at the bigger picture. And that's the beautiful experience of what LLB, I think, has been for a lot of us, is the bigger picture of what it turned out to be.
Yeah.
I think for me, it was less of me not wanting to play Fez than it was me being scared of playing that character. Whatever insecurities and triggers that it put in me, or triggered in me, that was the feeling. And I've always had the thing of like, if the role scares you, then you need to run towards that role. That is the role you need to, because it's usually those roles that are the most rewarding, I've found in my personal experience. So we did the first self-tape, got that back, then we had got a callback, went to the callback. It was me. There was only 2 more people for Fez, and there was a bunch of other characters there for the callbacks as well. And I remember just like having a conversation with Christo, our
producer,
our captain, then, and also him. Just like, it was the conversation and the dialogue about Fez for me had already started from the callback, where the script was very clear about who this character is. He is this character. He is over the top. He does stick out like a sore thumb. He is the, talkative gossiper of the office, all that kind of stuff. He is unapologetically gay, and all of these things. And so it was a very big push and pull. Like I've never put so much thought into a character as I did with Fez, especially in the pre-production phase. Never so much conversation, never so much just sitting down with the script and dissecting it and realizing that the only way that I would be able to play Fez is to allow him to tell me who he was, instead of me trying to tell Fez, okay, this is the character, this is blah, 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 because he's there, that is the character. I had to allow him to take space, which is something that was different for me. I had to allow him to take so much space and step back as Kagiso, because he is a character that's here vibrationally, right? And I'm just here, right? I'm here right now. It requires me to go there. And that's scary for any actor to do, because not any actor can pull that off. It's a scary, but that's what we're supposed to do, right? We're supposed to step out of our comfort zones, and we're telling stories, and we're checking our egos at the door and all of that kind of stuff. So I relished it. And I think there was a very specific moment, right? So pre-production's happening, we've done the readings, we've done the fittings and everything. And then we did a screen test on the Friday before the shoot actually commenced. And I just remember doing that screen test and not being fully in, not fully in as Fez, being half like, oh, chill, and very like, how I wasn't sure how I was going to play him yet. I knew how I needed to play him though. It was all there. I knew what I needed to do. I was just scared of it. And that the Saturday after that, I just sat in my garden from like 9 a.m. until 5 a.m. times went by, and I just unblocked everything in my mind that was stopping me from really becoming this man. I was like, you know what? Just unblock it, because all of these things that you're afraid to do, these choices, you don't want them to be to this and to that and everything. In doing that, you're also blocking what could be really a beautiful thing that manifests. And I think that Saturday was the most sort of like an important day for me, because that allowed me to be like, okay, cool. This is what this is what I have to do.
Do you feel like, as much as you were unblocking and really stepping away of all negative thoughts that you were having, you were stepping into Fez as you were detaching from all of that?
Totally. I think that was the me stepping into Fez.
Yeah.
I think it was, I had told myself that because of the way that he was written, which would appear very stereotypical, well, it is, essentially, it really is. But also, that's the type of person that actually exists. It's a stereotype for a reason. There are actually people. They exist. Like there are people who are like that. They're humans. They are humans.
Yeah.
I've just never really played them. And I know a lot of guys in my peer group of actors would never touch a role like that because it threatens their masculinity, right? Yeah. Cool. I'll always touch whatever needs to be told if it's a story. And especially if it steps me out of my comfort zone. So but that was an important moment. Stepped into him then, and I think there was also a very important thing with Fez, which was like his shoes. Like the shoes, man. And these big ass, what I call bricks, because I wear these in real life. Fez couldn't be more different than I am, and you would know.
Yeah.
And so even the shoes, I remember trying to make excuses in the beginning, being like, but maybe we could change the shoes because they're making me walk. I was feeling uncomfortable, but I was just blocking myself, right? And I realized that no, allow the shoes to lead you. That's his walk, so that's how he walks.
And they literally led you.
And they literally led me. They literally led me. But yeah, such a overall now I look back on it, and we did that entire experience, and it was also intentional as well, right? We went into it wanting to create a very safe space for all of us. And I think a few of us more than others as well had that intention, and couldn't have been more prouder of what we were be able to accomplish together. What we were able to bring out of each other as actors, where we were able to surprise ourselves as well. And now it's just the funniest thing. And it's funny how God works as well, dude, because it's like now Fez is definitely one of my favorite characters that I've ever played. And I'm very precious about him now. I'm very, very precious about him, and very protective as well over the choices that were made, and also the response that he's received. I very precious about that. I'm very appreciative of it too.
Let's talk about that surprising moment where you said sometimes you were able to surprise yourself as an actor while is there a particular moment where you said to yourself, goodness, Kagiso, this is not how you prepared to do it, but it just came out like that?
Every moment.
Really?
Every moment with Fez. And it's I think even you'll know, it's a lot of the moments that I've seen online as well, in terms of what people love about Fez, what they don't realize is that all of those moments weren't even in the script. Those are all ad-libs, right?
What a rise.
And that was the beautiful thing about working on this show, was that we all had a voice. We all had a voice, and we all had almost a nice creative control over our characters, even, while respecting the source material. But here's the character. We trust you as an actor, so do what you do.
Do what you need to do.
And then also a nice thing was that we all just genuinely liked each other as well, behind the scenes, for the most part, let me say, right? For the most part. And at least for certain, I see... For the most part. But I think that also helps, especially with the dynamics between certain characters, with me and Fez's interns, with me and Lozzie's character and Annalise's character, all that kind of stuff, where it's the chemistry you're seeing on screen is because, well, we're actually friends. We actually like each other. We actually get along.
I mean, I haven't had too many experiences on sets and stuff. And you always read, apparently there was drama between this and this and this and this. And just to see all you guys really become like this, I mean, for the main cast now, just really be this group of literally colleagues. We're working together. It's fun. We're going to do the work. We're going to do the work. We can laugh, and we're going to work, and we're going to work. And I feel like it translated very well.
It was
for
tough
all
because
those characters. Yeah.
You know, essentially we shot the show in a much smaller time frame than we were supposed to.
Yeah.
Right? This is a 13 part. You're supposed to shoot it in a good 3 to 4 months, right? We had 2 months to shoot it. Time frame was like this. There was a lot of compromises made, especially from actors' side on making, but everybody's side, for making this production, like especially the time frame. And it's like almost like we struck lightning in a bottle. You know, it's like we knew we had magic. By the 3rd week in, we knew we had magic when we were getting word from channel that, whoa,
we're liking this.
Okay, damn. Like,
I mean, the one thing that I remember you always reiterating on set was, I can see the potential of the show. I can see the potential of the show.
Yeah.
The show is going to be something. The show is going
oh
to be something.
yeah.
And it's something.
Oh yeah, I had no doubt.
It.
Yeah, and I think most of us could see it too. But I had absolutely no doubt. And I think as the process went, I was like, God, what if I had said no to this character? Like, oh, what a missed opportunity it would have been.
Yeah.
What a missed opportunity it would have been. Yeah, definitely one of my favorite. I'm excited to go back to him as well.
Yeah,
I'm excited to explore more of him. There's a lot of stuff that audiences don't even know yet about Fez's backstory that connects to other people which I won't even mention yet. People that are going to be introduced in season 2 and all that kind of stuff. Where it's like, I'm very excited to explore more of him and like peel back more layers of him as a person. Yeah, and also just the overall dynamic of the show. I'm really excited as well, and I would tell you as well to see where they take the interns, because interns cannot be interns forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I would hope that do you understand what I'm saying?
With them? Yeah.
That they do, because they're, you know,
something more. Let's say.
No, absolutely. I think every character deserves a story.
Yeah.
If it was up to me.
Yeah. I really pushed for it because I love the genre. And I mean, honestly, truly, for me, the idea of a legal drama series with interns at a law firm, I was like, okay, I want to be in my How to Get Away with Murder era, because that is literally one of my favorite shows of all time. And a group of 5 students, the
Keating 5, the Fez 5.
Yeah, the Fez 5. So that was for me the biggest motivator in really, really wanting to be part of it in whatever capacity, both on screen and off screen.
You have an interesting story though, because
I do.
You auditioned for Fez.
Yes, and I mean, I don't want to talk about it.
Tell us about
that. So, long story short, I signed with my agent this year, and then Fez was one of the first, the first audition for like a production, because before I was just getting commercial stuff and whatever. And then when I saw the thing, I'm like, okay, Law, Love, and Betrayal. This is giving Annalise. And then I'm reading the character for Fez. Then I read the bio, which...
Also, bio, the character, like, pictures that they put as the references did not match.
Okay, I didn't get that. I didn't get picture references. I just got the bios. And then when I saw it, I was like, okay, this is somewhat a version of me, but maybe hyper-focused and over-exaggerated and really dramatized. But it would be fun to really do and play this character. For me, the one thing that really struck a chord with me, that said his mom worked in the kitchens and stuff, but he was able to go to private school, and he really worked, which for me was the first inkling, okay, maybe that's why he loves research so much. He likes to process information, and that's why everyone loves him in the firm. And then I won't lie, I got super excited. I got super excited. I was like, oh my God. But then I looked at the age, and I was saying to Thuli when we were shooting that I don't look Fez's age, at least I think personally, because it's...
What is Fez's age?
It said 28 to 32 when the thing that I got. I could be mistaken. But I know I look older than what I am, but I don't feel like I look like I'm in my... and no offense to 30-year-olds. It's just, I just feel I don't look like that as yet. So that was like, okay, never mind, but you're going to do
you
it.
Don't, though. You really don't. You really look...
You know, my agent Thanks.
But your agent thought that you looked
older than what I am like to be in that. Yeah. Which is why when I saw you, I was like, that makes sense. But anyway, then I prepared. I first read it as Kopano, and then I tried to read it as whatever idea I think I have of the character at the time. And then I got on a call with 2 actor friends, well, Khausi and another friend of mine, Natasha. And yeah, they gave me notes. We practiced. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to wear a suit because it's my first in-person audition ever. Got there, and then I don't know if I'll get into trouble for saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Say it.
Got to the studios, waiting, and I was like super early. Like I just didn't know where Sasani was, so I didn't want to risk being late.
Yeah.
So I was like an hour early. Yeah. So I'm sitting, I'm preparing. I met Giwa that's where we met for the first time. So that's where our friendship started.
Love that.
And then the casting, one of the casting agent who was there, I won't say her name, but she was like, let's run it. I was like, okay, cool. Then we run it, how I prepared it. Then
how many people were there auditioning for Fez?
2 that me and another person.
Okay.
Yeah, was also from my agency. And then, but that day they were seeing a lot of the Gugus and the Ayandas, I think. So anyway, we go in, but this is before a lot of people were there. And then she says to me, no, I think they want this character to be very, very masculine. So forget about what's on the paper.
You know, and I'm like, it was so confusing. This whole pre-prod was so confusing with Fez because like, it's like, yeah, you didn't know what exactly they wanted.
Then she said to me, a reference I can give you is Will from Will and Grace. So then I went out of the room, then got onto YouTube to watch, and I'm like, okay, cool. Then she said he's, very mask, but also very femme, and he just has the balance of it. So if he can do that, great. So then I was all up in my head because now I'm like, she's literally telling me to forget everything that I've prepared, which now I know I would never do. But again, it was my first audition, so whatever. And it was really, looking back, it was really horrible because I was sweating. And, but I was still professional. I was still nice, even though I really feel like, I don't know why she would have said that, but also maybe that was just the information that she might have gotten. But then I said, you know what? It was a fun audition experience, but I knew I wanted to be on the show somehow.
In some capacity.
And that's when I exchanged numbers with Giba. So I said to her, if you know of anything that'll... And then literally she was like, hey, we're looking for
But that's what I love so much about you being like such a go-getter. Like literally like put yourself out there in that way because look now.
Yeah.
Really, really.
Yeah. So that was my experience with Fez. So then when the day before my first day, then I got the call sheet, and I was like, I want to see who they got for Fez. And I was like, okay. So when I saw your name, I was like, okay, that makes sense. That really does make sense. So and I just let it go. And then I knew I wanted to have a conversation with you to really hear from you what you thought of the character.
Can I tell you something interesting as well? So you auditioned for Fez, and so did the guy who played Mto.
Yeah, Mto. I found that out later. Yeah.
In episode 3, who was Fez's little thing or whatever, and he was the guy I was at the callback with.
Yeah.
I just didn't remember at the time when we met on set, but. Yeah. It's interesting how many people did all this. It was an interesting thing. Like I'm saying, Fez, the pre-production was very confusing because it's like. It was. There was multiple notes. It was like, okay, so you want him to be a bit masculine. You're putting a reference of Jussie Smollett from Empire.
Okay.
Cool. So, but then what's written is nothing like that at all.
Yeah.
It's written the way it's written here, and I remember dissecting the script so much. In, trying to find a way to transform it into just a neutral, masculine, calm, performance. Yeah. And there was absolutely just no way to do it without literally just tearing the script apart and being like, no, give me new words. Yeah. Like I literally, and that's it. At the end of the day, my job is to do justice to the script, you know what I mean? And not make excuses for that too. So I think an important moment for me was just the surrender of like, okay, no, this is the character. Surrender to that. Like I said, let him tell you who he is.
Yeah.
I love how full circle that is. That you come and then you end up playing one of his interns. I think it's it's perfect.
But now I just know that no one but you could have played the character. I just can't see anyone playing the character. And for me, that's when I like when an actor is able to still keep to the context, the origins of, being the script now, and still being able to add your own flair. I mean, we all saw that lollipop fly on set.
I can't wait for that.
And just, you really elevated it. And my hope really is that he doesn't fade away. I mean, we know what potential he has in the show in reference to the characters that he relates to. And I just hope they can be consistent with the way he is now as the show is playing out, but also really elevate him. And let's see him outside of the office. Who is Fez outside of the walls of GNA?
Well, 100%. I mean, we've spoken about it, which we won't speak about, but I know like a specific story thread that's related to a current story thread that involves Fez, but it's only going to be explored
in season 2.
In terms of who he went to school with. And so that should be very interesting. I really obviously have no idea who they're going to cast for that role and everything. So that might be, but I also, like, none of us have any idea what they're going to do with any of the characters. Do I want to see him in court more? Personally, for him, yes. For me, as an actor, no, just because the Saturdays at court was just like, I don't like that. Nobody likes being at Saturday at court. But in court, definitely. Like, I think.
But don't you think this is where they really need to define what Fez is?
Absolutely.
In the firm. Because right now, he's just head of, he just looks like someone who's head of research. He handles the interns. He handles all the legal administrative work. So we know for a fact he studied law, but the question is, did he do his articles? Did he write his board exams? What is the thing? So there's literally so much that they can really, really try and develop for.
And isn't that I think it's a nice thing about the first season is, like, the first season is just about laying the foundations. It lays the foundations for all these characters. In the next few weeks, we're still going to see more of other characters that we haven't been really seeing much, like Tuli's character, which I'm excited for, really excited for that. And I think it's going to allow for the second season for us to just, like, hit the ground running now, because now you know the characters, you care about them. And so I want to see all that stuff too, because I wonder about it too. There's so much that's unknown.
I asked Tuli, and I'm going to ask you now, is Fez someone you would be friends with in real life?
Yeah, I would be. I'm friends with humans. Like, I would be. If he was a cool person, I'm trying to think in what context would we meet, though, because I don't think I would hang out where Fez hangs out at all.
Where does Fez hang out?
I'm a piano concerts and, maybe a tavern somewhere, but like, but you can be friends with anybody. It doesn't really,
if the chemistry's there.
I wouldn't write it out.
And then as you were reading and preparing for the role, were there any personality traits that you knew, okay, this makes him, but now that the show is playing out, are there any things that you missed that, oh, he's actually like this? Because you said to me on set, as much as you did the prep work before the show, but you were still finding out who the character was while shooting. So now, post-shooting, and now that it's on air, is there anything else that you saw about the character that you couldn't see during the time you were working?
No, not really. I think because, like, everything that I'm seeing now, I don't think so. I just think, like, what now the interesting thing watching it is, like, you're watching it in context with now all of the other characters and the stories as well. So you're shooting your story, you're shooting your, I'm at the office all the time, all that stuff. But it's interesting now seeing how it fits into everything as a larger scale. I don't think there's anything now that I'm figuring out about. I feel like, why as well? It's just because, really, dude, like, I milk out of this character. Like I, you know, enjoyed the experience so much as well, and even just the process of playing and playing and playing. I was, you know, I don't know if you were there on rap. I was crying my eyes out after my rap day because I was just like, it was such an emotional.
Yeah. And you literally said, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry," and then the tears.
Well, like I didn't want. Don't ever make me do speeches. I did it on Scandal as well. I did it like they always make me do speeches when we end, and I always cry like a little baby because I'm so emotionally attached to every character that I play, especially when it's a very invested role, like a lengthy period of time, or you know, a lot to do. It's like I get really emotionally connected. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's nothing new that I'm thinking about maybe that I could have done or that kind of stuff at all. I think beyond that is actually I'm discovering, because you know, with Fez, and this is the beautiful like sweet spot that you want to like achieve as an actor, right? Is that you want to be able to watch yourself and actually not remember that you did that.
Okay.
And there's a lot of moments when I watch Fez where I'm like, I literally don't even remember saying that line, or I don't remember doing that, or blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. And that's what you want as an actor, because it means that you're present. You're in the moment. And I think I've never been more present in a character than I was with Fez. With Fez, yeah. Yeah.
And just giving us a few dynamics. Describe Fez within the context of the show. I mean, The Office. Apart from being research and all of that, we can see he's friends with Lwazi.
Yeah.
I don't really know him and James. I don't know if it's just a professional thing. And then I know with Pearl's character, what's her name? Ayanda.
Yeah.
There are some moments where it's like, okay, they're friends, but then not just now. She was like,
I know.
I will personally make sure to hand in the.
Well, that's the thing with Fez is like he is so over the top and he forgets his place type of thing. You know, he forgets his place, but he's also so endearing like that as well, because he's also very good at what he does.
Yes.
Which is why he does what he does, and which is why they trust him. He's like the I don't know what you want to call it, but like when there's a well-oiled machine of a company, he's almost like the nucleus of that, because do you know what I mean? Because everything runs through him in that way. And if he wasn't there, everything is disorganized, right? There's the episode where Ayanda comes and he's not there because he's arriving late from a party. Like, Ayanda's Fez, where is he? Because what's going on? Because you need Fez there as the sort of, you know, the engine to make things run smoothly. But at the end of the day, he also has his place. It's interesting to see like his different colors, right? And how they play out in terms of his place. So like when he's talking to Ukaja, that's when you can see he knows his place as a subordinate, versus when he's talking to his interns, then he's flexing his power because that's where he feels like he can, you know? And even with his interns, it's like which is why I really hope they really explore more of that, because, you know, this is, for context, you know, this is what Fez does as well. He inducts the interns. This is not his first cycle of interns. He's done it many times before. He'll probably do it again, unless he moves on to a different type of role. But the way he gives them that tough love is to prepare them for this world where it's just full of sharks. And I would hope to see more scenes where you can see how much he actually does care for his interns. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's really like a parental type of love and I think there was a lot of moments I tried to like infuse that, especially as the episodes went, to be like, but he's mean with the cause, even if he's OTT mean, but like, it's not because he hates them. It's really because he loves them.
I mean, I'm thinking of an example right now, the scene in the small boardroom where you and I were walking in for the meeting with the whole party, and then Gacha was doing something with my hair, and you're like, no, you look fine. So I feel like
that wasn't in the script, exactly. All that stuff. Yes, exactly. Yes. There was always little moments that I tried to find where I could be like, show him showing some
affection,
to his, you know. And I think as the episodes went, it got so bad though, even our other co-star Power, plays one of the interns, had to reprimand me. He was like, in one of the takes, you know, Fez was doing something, and it was a scene we were doing, and I had to once again reprimand an intern. And I think at this point now, we're like towards the end of shooting, and I'm just we're all tired. And I'm just like, and by this point, I love you guys so much as well. And so even my fezness or me reprimanding was kind of like, and he had to be like, please just actually be mean to me in the scene, otherwise I can't actually genuinely get scared, or like all that kind of stuff. I was kind of forgetting myself in a way.
Yeah.
So it was interesting how that. So but I don't know. Like I would love to see that dynamic, how it plays out in season 2, and I would hope the interns are no longer interns in season 2. That would just make sense. I think
it also
right?
depends on like how far they're going to time jump and stuff. But those are all like semantics.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, apart from what you know Fez's potential can be, if you had the power and the influence to say, this is what I want for the character, is there any one thing in particular that you would want either to explore?
Oh, I've already asked for it, but I don't know if I'll get it.
Do you want to share?
I want him to drive a motorcycle.
Wow.
Literally, I want Fez to ride a motorcycle. I will even like
go for
learn to ride one myself. I actually almost did many years ago. I had like my learners and stuff, and I was planning to become like a bike rider, and then a friend had an accident, blah blah blah. But I want him to ride a motorcycle, like a super bike, or like a Harley, or something that is such a juxtaposition that like you wouldn't expect Fez to
not
be
the
riding.
one,
No, like a proper fucking like
a beast.
A beast. When he rides in his helmet and then he takes it off and he's like, just to become I want him to drive a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Even if they want to get a double to do it, it's fine. But I want him to ride a motorcycle. That's the only thing I want.
Okay.
Literally, I already asked for that as well. The first thing they asked me is, "Can you ride?"
Yeah.
Like, I can learn.
I know you want the scarves gone.
Yes. Oh yeah. I forgot about that. The cravat is what they're called.
But I don't think you hated it. You hated the process of putting them on. I
absolutely hated them. I hated them. I hated those scarves. I still hate them. I absolutely hate those scarves. I hate the scarves. I absolutely hate the scarves. I hate the scarves. I hate the scarves. And I vocalized it so much that Christo, our captain, eventually gave in and was like, okay, shut up. Like,
get rid of them.
We can get rid of the scarves for season 2, but then you have to bring me a better idea. I was like, okay, cool, compromise, cool, that's fine, that's fair, right?
For you, was the bike that?
No. That's separate. That was just separate.
To bring something to his attire.
Bring something to his neck, because they want something around his neck. Don't ask me why.
Why?
I don't know why. It's not like he has a burn mark on his neck. It's not like he's hiding something, but he's always wearing this scarf around here. And for me, it's like, if Fez is supposed to be a fashionista, he's supposed to be, no fashion and opulence and everything. Would he really be wearing the same scarf every day? Like, I think he would be someone with like autonomy within his mind to be like, nah, to dress, but also that was the creative decision of the first of the team in the first season, and that's what they wanted. And they were very, very adamant on the scarf. Like I couldn't get them rid of the scarf to get rid of the scarf.
But I love the red number that you had. Remember when you walked in late and you were that was cute.
I know, it was over OTT. That was OTT Fez. That's when you see OTT Fez. Like, there's just that's when you see, it was moments like that, right? That I would read in the script where I was still in the beginning trying to like find a way to make him more masculine or just like, neutral in that way. But you would read scenes like that where you were like, well, I have to play it. There's no way I can't play this in a specific way because it's really written like this. There's just no way I can't. Otherwise, I'm just like disrespecting the writers and the, you know what I mean? That's, it was things like that but I'm very, very glad that I was able to just, like I said, surrender. And just give in, because we need to do that, and it's not the first time, it's not the last time, but we're always going to have those challenges as actors. Yeah. But it's our job.
You post the response from Twitter, and I look at the comments and I'm like, yeah, people are really liking this character. But also on the same side, there are people who will have something negative to say, just in an attempt to do God knows what.
I love them all. But I love all of you. You're all amazing.
What do you have to say to those who feel like, oh no, he just did it, it was too OTT, or he's playing a caricature? Because my opinion is, you can but offend, because whatever it is you do, some people will always like it.
Oh, you listen, there will be, this is the thing, right? As an actor, you must know, there will always be someone who does not resonate with a character you are playing. Yeah. You can be Denzel Washington, you can be Viola, anyone, right? There will always be someone out there who doesn't resonate.
Yeah.
Period. So you're not going to please everybody, right? You have to look at context of everything. I have everything and nothing to say to those specific people, especially because of the one specific post that essentially sorted itself out from a very so-called professional blogger, where it was, if it's going to be constructive criticism, babe, make it be constructive and then construct me. Don't just provide solutions. Problems and, put up videos and pull out, all that kind of stuff. And then don't provide solutions. It's constructive criticism. Yeah. But when your post is so heavily emotional, babe, and you're supposed to be a professional, commentator or something, something like that, then it makes me, look at you a little funny. But that's the thing, is like, people will always have their own opinions. You can't stop people from talking. You can't stop that. If I could also dissect all of the points that people want to throw at me and be like, oh, he's too OTT. Of course he's OTT. That's how he's written. Oh, you're overacting. Of course I'm overacting. I'm nothing like Fez. It requires me to step outside of myself and overact. That's the whole point. Unless they wanted to get someone who is exactly like Fez, but then that wouldn't be acting. That wouldn't be doing the job, right?
That person.
I think the more of the problem is that people just don't like how the character Fez is. And also what I'm noticing as well is that, because internal homophobia is a very big thing, and we just don't like that chat. We just don't like that chat, do we?
Talk about it.
We just don't like that chat. So when you're seeing things within Fez that trigger you, and then you want to call them cringe, baby, and you want to call them, it's amateur line delivery. Is it amateur line delivery, or is the mind receiving the line amateur? Because then if it's amateur line delivery, it's cringe, then so are the 90% of South Africa who have loved the show or the performance, are they all amateur? Or the director and our actors and nobody, the DOP, nobody on set throughout the entire process of shooting could have called out that, no, he's doing too much. He's doing too much, all that kind of stuff. That's an amateur line delivery. How can So are we all amateurs, or is that a you thing? And for you to cringe, I saw one of the comments was cringe from that same professional blogger. And I wish people would really understand the definitions of words before they put them online, because by definition, right, to cringe at something as a human means that you have to personally identify with that feeling that you're cringing at. Otherwise you couldn't cringe at it. You don't know the feeling. When you cringe at something, it's because you know that feeling, that makes me feel, or reminds me of when I did that. We've all done something cringe in our lives, right? So when you're saying cringe, is that really a Fez thing, a me thing, or are you reminded of something within yourself that now is, and we just all need to do internal work and hold ourselves accountable. I can do it, you can do it, but it's easy to be a keyboard warrior like this and post a lot of stuff, So I would have never, and I will never, there will always be people that say stuff, and I love it and I welcome it. Like I said, I think the more you do in life and the bigger you get as well, the more opposition you're going to get. You're naive if you think that's just not going to be a thing. You have to have thick skin. People are going to say all sorts of absolutely bizarre things as well, outrageous stuff. And a lot of the time, it's not even a you thing, it's a them thing. Projection is at an all-time high, but I love it. I welcome it so much. I think Fez needs to create that kind of chaos, even within a response, because he is what he is, and he's arrived and he's there. And for me, I think I will always. It's easier to let go of the negative when you know that the majority is just so receptive and overwhelmingly receptive. Because I didn't necessarily expect that either, especially on the Twitter streets. So that's how. That's how I feel about it. But I love you all, hey? I love you all. You're just all so great. So great. Also, I'm going to be doing merch, because the lines that were created in that post, baby, amateur line delivery, t-shirts are coming. I'm not even lying. Like, it's going to be a whole thing. Like, capitalize.
No, for me, I just got construct me.
Construct me, babes. Construct me, because clearly you're Meisner and you're Stella Adler, and you look so please. But no, here's the thing. The most telling thing about that entire post, though, right, from that person who always stands on what he says, because he is that person, deleted the post less than a week. And I only found this out yesterday or 2 days later. And I was very surprised at that. I expected it to live on forever. And for me, I'm like, I would have respected you more if you stuck by your words. At least do that.
So do you feel like they deleted it because...
well, he's never deleted. He doesn't delete things. He doesn't delete. Apparently, I don't actually follow him because I don't have Twitter. So I have a burner account. So I wouldn't know, but like, I know he doesn't delete things.
Yeah.
So why did you delete it? But I love you so much, hey? You're absolutely great.
Well, I love you so much. As you know, we really got to spend time on set together to talk about the work, and we got a bit close personally. And it's, for me, it's always a weird thing when you watch people on TV and the next thing it's one thing to meet someone that you kind of like the work that they do, and the next thing you're working with them and becoming friends with them and just sitting and chatting and stuff. So you were definitely one of my faves on set to talk to spend time with. And thank you for how you were able to protect me with all the drama that they tried to create. And I hope to see you at season 2.
I hope to see you.
Yeah. So
what are you hoping for a season 2, and what are you hoping for your character as well? And have you had any like conversations with people there about that?
No. I asked the line producer if there's an idea to develop the interns, and then she said, I mean, I don't see why not, but it was just in
I mean, what else could they gonna do with them? You know, it's like,
yeah, but then again, coming back to the whole defining them, what are they? Because if you really look at it, if they are interns, it means it's one of two things. They are students at university still studying law and they're doing like a vacation program, or they are out of varsity and they just couldn't get articles and now they're becoming interns, and maybe that's just a step that GNA has created before you do your 2 years of articles. But in South Africa, there's no, if you want to be a lawyer, your internship is your 2 years of articles. Then you write your boards in between those 2 years, and then you become a junior associate, and then you make your way. So I feel like that they need to define what these group of interns are, and why is that particular word? Because I feel like just at the top of my head, they just took the American term that you're an intern, you're an intern, you're an intern. So, and then what I hope for the show, I don't know how to say this, but certain characters, well, 2 characters, I feel like really were just on the edge of being what they should have been in terms of, are you the villain of the story? You know, I feel like with some 2 characters, they were just really trying not to take them all the way, but they were throwing hints there. And I'm like, if you want to commit to it, write the villain. Terrify me.
I know you and I had a conversation with said person.
Yes. And then personally, I mean, right now I'm just living in it'll only happen once it happens. So I hope that they bring back the interns, and more specifically the original actors who played the interns, because what could happen, you never know. You never know. But I really hope they bring me, Kwabano, back to play Kumo and develop him and the rest of the interns, because from what we were able to see, the TTD, first assistant director, he would always say to us, yes, I know there's no material really for your characters, but you build them. And for me, it was a nice process of improvisation and really building a character that, I'm in a law firm. And remember, I asked you with the whole language thing, and then you said we can get away with speaking English in the office sense. So I was like, okay, I'm really going to create this sort of private school brat, but then not in the way that he doesn't get along with people. So then TT was like, okay, who are your friends? I'm like, okay, yeah, Lesedi would be my friend, played by Mello. And then Power, he's a nervous wreck, so I'm just gonna be trying
Power
to
is a nervous wreck.
You know?
Yes.
And then one of the other girls who played the interns, Zipo, she was like, yeah, Mbali, in my mind, she's a rich girl. She doesn't really have to be there, but she's just doing it for her CV. And that's why you can really see when the way she was walking, she did walk like she didn't really care. So it was things that we created. And
so true,
I don't know. I mean, if they want to do what they want to do with the characters, sure. But I don't... If they were to ask, those are the things that I would say.
The interns, let me tell you, was such an important part, and they are such an important part of the show, even behind the scenes, like off, when cameras were off. I just remember there was a certain day where I think it was like a Friday. By that point now, we've been on set every day, and we know what the vibe is. It's always, full, and the interns have that section. You guys have that section of yours that you sit at. And there was a day where mostly everyone was not on set. So it was just like a few characters and then no interns. Yeah. And man, you could feel the difference. I could specifically feel the difference that the interns were not there. And that's when, and this was towards the end of shooting. And that's when I knew it's like a piece of a puzzle, right? It really needs every piece.
No matter how big or not.
It really does. Like, I don't see this show wouldn't work if it didn't have those interns. I think they deserve a bit more respect as well. Yeah. I think when you we just could refer to them as the interns, and then, we don't really know them as humans, but it is the way it is. But I think, people don't understand, like, if we don't have you guys, if we didn't have you guys in the show, it just wouldn't,
the space would be the same.
Empty. It would be empty.
Yeah. I mean, I remember one of the days where it was actually on my birthday when I was the only one on call, which was so weird. That's the day we shot the scene in the mini boardroom with, So then, and I remember people like, where are my interns? Where are my interns? Guys, where are my kids? So it definitely. But, to the future.
To the future, babe.
But for me personally, I don't know for you, I have like career goals that I want to play. Like, to play a lawyer was one of them because of How to Get Away with Murder. Now that I'm watching Grey's Anatomy, I'm like, I want to play a doctor. I really want to. And I've got like 3 friends who are doctors. I'm like, I just feel like I need to have that experience. Yeah. And I want to play a journalist, just an ode to my undergraduate studies. So those are my top 3 professions. So we've got one.
I've already played like a couple of the I think maybe a couple of the characters that I would were on my list. Which were like a psychotic dude who kidnaps his girlfriend on Scandal, and then a serial killer on The Queen who kidnaps his husband and chops him up and hides him under the bed. And those, and for me, like, I've always loved, like, I don't know why, don't ask me why, but I've always resonated with those kind of roles, psychotic,
villainous in a way.
And the thing is, it was never intentional as well. I remember doing an old a class with Camilla Waldman years ago it was actually preparing for my Scandal role. So before I started, and I just went to her, and you would go over the script or whatever. And this is in the beginning of the Scandal role when he wasn't a villain. He started out as a nice, charming guy and stuff. But I remember her saying something very specific to me, and she was like, she said to me, you would play a very good villain. And I just remember like taking that and just keeping it, because I'm like, oh, that's cool. I've never thought about that, but that's really nice. And he ended up turning into the villain.
And it was just kind of like foreshadowing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it did foreshadow, but also like they did tell me in the beginning when I started that he was going to become. He has a secret, and
I think Scandal has definitely produced good villains, which they don't necessarily start out that way. I mean, if you look at your character, if you look at Masasa's character, if you look at Daniel Nyati, they become, and they become in front of your eyes too. So you watch them develop, and it's so dope. And I mean, for me, just because maybe I like villains, but they do it, specifically Scandal, in a way that you are still able to resonate with them, as much as there are moments that you hate them in, but you still love the character. They hate like I love Temba Kashezi, and in a way, I want to play a villain, but I want to play a murderous villain. That really, and just get you
like what, like Jeffrey Dahmer, like what kind of murderous villain? What kind of murderous villain?
No, that show was difficult for me to watch.
When I was playing I did a serial killer on the Queen, and when that show came out, I was still shooting the serial killer role,
Yeah.
and our director came up to me and he was like, "Hey, there's this new show out. It's called Dharma. Go watch that." I was like, I watched that show, and it was so thrilling to. I love this is the nice part about doing your work and then getting responses online and people mentioning certain things that you're like, oh. Wow, I'm glad you got that because that was actually a reference, and many people were referencing Dharma in on the comments, which was dope because it was like, that was
not like if the character was fictional, but not like that, but just someone who and not I mean, I'd like to explore all sorts to event because for my honors dissertation, it was actually constructing a sympathetic villain in contemporary film and television, and it's just the thing. It was within the genre of horror, but it's a thing that I love.
Yeah.
But we have run out of time, unfortunately. No. It feels like 10 minutes. No. It really feels like 10 minutes. But thank you so much.
Thank you
for coming to chatting to me on set and now off the phone. On the phone, and to our friendship that will grow and grow and grow and grow. And I can only wish you well in your career, and you will continue to thrive. LLB, outside of LLB, take it to the moon, literally. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much, baby boy. And keep thriving. Like I said, I'm so proud of you and what you're doing and your movement, and I know you're going places. Your ambition is unmatched right now, so it's only a matter of time, and literally just keep doing exactly what you're doing. You know, this platform here, it's not a mistake at all. So,
on that note, my fellow connectors, we have come to the end of our episode with Mr. Kagiso Rathebe. If you enjoyed this episode, please do give it a like. Comment. We love for the comments. Subscribe so that you can come back for more. Click that notification bell, and share with a friend or two because it's amazing for you and it's definitely amazing for me. Bye.
Bye. Hello, Kagiso Rathebe here. I just had my episode with Kopano and it was heated. As you can see, I'm sweating, and it was dope. Come back for the next episode.